Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I don't know, just kind of upset about different things. I went out to try and get that bug today. I called a towing company, an independent, because I do have AAA, but the bug doesn't have tags on it, and it's wrecked. So I didn't really think I should run it through my my AAA, just because of that purpose. I guess I could take the tags for the caddy out there and put them on there and then just run it through my AAA that way, and I still may do that. Anyway, where it's sitting at over at this body shop, the guy has a Durango sitting there, and he also has a Ford Ranger sitting there. And there's just, I don't think there's quite enough room to be able to pull that bug in between the two. I mean, they're sitting kind of at an angle, closer at the back end than they are at the front end. Anyway, I took air tanks over there, blew the tires up, got all ready to go, and was waiting, and then I called him, and he said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because you told me that there's a car in the way. We just can't assume that liability to move that other Durango out of the way so we can get yours picked out of there. You know, I explained to him, it's a body shop, they're all wrecked. This one has been sitting there, the Durango's been sitting there a while. The owner said it's fine, move it, do whatever you need to do, because the owner of the body shop, his forklift is broke down, so he can't move anything for me. So anyway, long story short, nobody wants to assume liability, and it's not home. So, and I have some parts sold off of it that people are wanting to come and get, but namely the tires and wheels. Somebody wants those off of the bug, but they can't come get them because they need to be on the bug to be able to get it to the house. Anyway, just a lot of hoops that I had to jump through. I have stuff to do to my truck tonight. I got a new alternator that came in the box right there. I did pick that up from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below, but it's a factory alternator. It's not an upgraded alternator, which, you know, the more and more I thought about it, I wish I would have went with an upgraded alternator. It's just a 136 amp alternator, and that's what's on the truck now. I'll when I get the old one off, I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a tag on the back of it that that tells you the voltage and the amperage. So anyway, now, you know, like I said, I'm losing light. I want to get this on yet tonight. We're supposed to have more snow tonight into tomorrow. It's still about 39 degrees out right now, so I wanted to come home and get this done while I had some heat, but I've been jacking around with that bug trying to get it home. So anyway, what you're gonna need to do to pull your alternator off is, it's a 13 millimeter all the way around. You have a 13 millimeter here, you have a 13 millimeter down there, and then you have a 13 millimeter to take your main power off of, or your main connection off of there. It's a real pain in the butt to program my radio in my truck. So what I'm going to do this time, and you should unhook both your batteries, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take, once I unhook that main power, and wrap some tape around it so it can't get up next to something and ground out and cause direct short. So it's not really the proper way to do it, it's just the way that I'm going to do it. So anyway, let's get this old alternator off, and also your intake, in this case my elbow needs to go out of the way. In factory cases, your air cleaner will have to come off and stuff like that. And also your belt has to come off, which I already have it done. That's pretty self-explanatory. You just put your 1/2-inch breaker bar in there, move it over, pull your belt off, and you're good to go. Just make sure it stays on either the idle pulley down there or your air conditioning condenser down the bottom when you put it back on. So let's get this old alternator off and get the, well, we can open up this one first if you want to. I haven't opened it yet. I kind of want to see what it looks like, really. Well, I needed both hands to get it out of the two boxes there. Everything's the same. You got this plug on the back, and the only thing that's different is on the factory when it's in the truck. This post here is on the back. It's just on the top on this post, which is really no big deal. It'll sit on the truck kind of like that. Actually, it is on the bottom. So like I said, it's not a big deal. The only difference is this post right here. Thought it was pretty cool. after this was inside, and this is a test sheet showing that the alternator was tested at the factory and is in good working condition when shipped out. So I think that's pretty cool. So I guess we'll just get set up and get this old one out of the truck. Well, you can see I have both alternator. I have the old alternator off and sitting here by the new one. You can see everything's the same. That plug, the post. The only thing different is, like I said, is this post comes out will be kind of towards the bottom, and this one is on the back, which is no big deal. One thing I did notice when I took it apart is on my top bolt, you can see how that's wore. So I don't know. I'm going to take this alternator and have it tested. I don't know if this was the issue here, but it's very well possible. I save everything, so I just grabbed another bolt out of my bin over there, and this one's got just a little bit longer shoulder on it, so it should be, whoops, it should be a lot better there. You can see here, this is what I was talking about. Here's the tag that's on the back of the factory one. You can see it's 14 volt and 132 amp. This one here does not have a tag on it any place that I saw, but it does have this paper here, and 12 volt. Focus. 12 volt, 136 amp. So this is just a factory replacement alternator. Like I said, if I would have thought, of course I didn't, I had some money in my Amazon account from stuff that I had returned. I said, you know what, I'm just going to use that, and I'm just going to see if there's actually alternators on Amazon. So I guess, yes, there is alternators on Amazon. The only thing different is also, you will need a 15mm wrench for the back side of the bottom long nut or long bolt. That one's a 15mm. Everything else is 13mm, except for this one here now, I believe will be probably a 15mm also. Yep, that's what it is. So we'll need a 15. I will need a 15mm now to put it together. So I don't know. You can see right down in there, right there, there's some belt shavings too. So I'm wondering if this was causing an issue allowing that alternator to move ever so slightly. Not certain. Very well could have, because it would ride. And if you look at the top of that alternator, or the top hole, look how that is wore and wallered. So that was the whole issue right there if I was a gambling man, which I'm not. So anyway, I'm going to put the new one in. You can see the difference between the two. So that's pretty wild. I've never saw an alternator wear like that. I don't know if that's the factory alternator. I don't know that much history on it. It very well could be the alternator they put on it from the factory. So right now, we'll get the new one on and check everything out. Alright, it is all back together, and as you can see, I started it and put it outside. It's getting colder, so I wanted to get it outside and get the garage door shut. At least with the garage door closed, it does warm up just a little bit in here with everything being insulated. I have all my walls insulated and OSB'd, I just don't have much of a heat source out here. So anyway, I know you guys have heard me say that before, but anyway, everything was good. There's still just a little issue when I first start the truck up. I was sitting there idle, and it's only when I first start it, no matter if it's warm, cold, what. It'll sit there and the needle will come off and go above 8, and then it'll drop off a little bit. And especially at night, you can see my headlights are on. They'll go dim, and then they'll go bright. Then they'll go dim, then they'll go bright. I really don't know what that issue is, to be honest with you. I have no idea. I thought maybe it was because of my air conditioning condenser going on and off, but I don't think that's the issue either. I'm not certain. By the time I got out of the truck and to check the alternator, which is fine, it's charging, doing a good job. I think what the issue was with that one was that hole. That was really, really wild on how that has wallered out like that. That must have been loose for a while, and also to where the top of the bolt like that's pretty wild, man. One other thing I forgot to mention, when you put this alternator on, they have this sleeve right here, and you want to tighten that up. They have it all the way flush against this ear, and as you tighten it up, it pushes it in, and then pushes it tight against this ear, and then on the mount in the truck, and then the mount on the truck on that side. So you want to make sure and tighten that up clear until it touches and stops till you really can't tighten anymore. You don't need to muscle it, but just make sure it's tight. You'll think it's tight, but in reality you have to take and push this collar in till it's touching the mount on the engine itself. So anyway, I think I'm going to call it a night. Go in and help my son study for a history quiz and test that he has tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, anyway, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so. We'll talk to you guys later on. Bye-bye.